Just a thought. Romans chapter 13, verses 8 to 10. Owe no man anything but to love one another. For he who loves another has fulfilled the law. For this, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not kill, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness, you shall not covet. And if any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended in this saying, namely, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Love works no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law. In verses 1 to 7 of this chapter, we saw what manner of persons we ought to be in relation to God's arrangement so far as those in authority are concerned. Here in these 3 verses, we come to what manner of persons we ought to be with regard to our love one for the other, whether saint or sinner. Owe no man anything. If I must incur a debt, then let it be a debt of love for my neighbor. My neighbor is anyone who is in need, even if that one be a stranger, as we have in the story of the certain Samaritan, that man who went down from Jerusalem to Jericho, fell among thieves who left him half dead, and a certain Samaritan on his journey came and put his life at risk and took care of that man. The Samaritan was a stranger. And so my neighbor is anyone, even if that one be a stranger, who is in need of help. And so we see the expression of love that is of God. Love your neighbor as yourself. If I love my neighbor, I would not commit adultery. I will not interfere with his spouse or her spouse. If I love my neighbor, I would not murder him or her. If I love my neighbor, I will not steal from him or her. If I love my neighbor, I will not bear false witness against him or her. If I love my neighbor, I will not covet what he or she has. Love your neighbor as yourself. The Lord Jesus referred to the greatest of all commandments. And he said, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. This is the first commandment. And the second, like this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. He said, there is none other commandment greater than these. So it begins with the vertical, love for God. And then it branches out to the horizontal, love for my neighbor. This is the kind of love that is patient. This is the kind of love that is kind. This is the kind of love that envies not. This is the kind of love that vaunts not itself. This is the kind of love that is not puffed up. This is the kind of love that does not behave itself in an indecent manner. This is the kind of love that seeks not her own. This is the kind of love that is not easily provoked. This is the kind of love that thinks no evil. This is the kind of love that rejoices not in iniquity. This is the kind of love that rejoices in the truth. This is the kind of love that quietly covers all things. This is the kind of love that believes all things. This is the kind of love that hopes all things. This is the kind of love that endures all things. Beloved, this is the kind of love that never fails. The greatest of these is love. Owe no man anything but to love one another. For love is the fulfilling of the law. May the Lord help us.